I've been waiting for you.
Hello everybody, it is BYG Agami back with another video, and today we got episode 11, 12, and 13's title. So let's just jump right into it. Episode 11's title is The Roaring Gun Barrel Viral Dragon. Episode 12 is The Ironclad Guardian Dragon Firewall. And then episode 13 is Record of the Fierce Battle. So essentially all of these titles are relating towards the Yusaku and Revolver duel, which means that this duel could possibly be 5 to 4 episodes long. Because we do know that the duel starts at episode 9 and then is most likely going to end around episode 13 unless it goes on longer, which I don't think is going to be the case because that's too long of a duel. I mean, if you really count it up in terms of minutes, so an average episode is 20 minutes long and there's about 5. It's like 100 minutes of a duel, which is fairly long. Wow, that's almost the time of DSOD. Wow, that's actually pretty long then. Anyhow, let's just sort of talk about each episode title. And we've already talked about episode 9 and 10. I'll leave those down in the description below, or you guys can go on the channel and check out the previous videos. It's, I think, 2 videos behind this one. But episode 11 is titled The Roaring Gun Viral Dragon, which is basically Revolver's monster, Viral Dragon. So essentially what I think is going to happen is, since in episode 10 it does state that Playmaker then uses Storm Access to obtain a card in order to turn things around. However, due to Revolver's tactics, the stage of their battle has moved to the inside of the Data Storm. And sorry, I forgot to mention this, but I do want to say thank you to DMC for the translations. I'll leave his WordPress down in the description below. So possibly since Revolver does go into the Data Storm, he might get Viral Dragon from that. And we don't see Topologic Bomber Dragon just yet, because episode 12 then goes on to state the Ironclad Guardian Dragon Firewall, which is Yusaku's ace Firewall Dragon. Maybe that's what turns the battle around into Yusaku's favor, which could possibly happen, but it kind of sucks in my opinion that just from the just from the titles themselves, we don't see Topologic Bomber Dragon, Revolver's ace monster. I really would have thought it would have been cool writing if they both went into the Data Storm, or rather the Storm Access, and actually got their aces and just use them against them in that episode. I think that would have been a cool way to wrap up the episode, but probably the highlight of the episode as well. And also, they both get their ace monsters in their first duel against each other. But at the same time, it does make more sense that Revolver already has his ace monster, since he is much older than Yusaku, we can assume, because of, you know, the whole 5 years waiting for Ignis, and then what we saw in episode 3, I believe, when he actually, for the first time, we actually get to see him log out of the VR, and we just see a little body shot of him moving. And he does seem to be older than Yusaku by, I would say, several years, so that does mean he probably got his cards, or well, at least his ace monster ahead of time, much faster than Yusaku, because Yusaku just got this deck, or well, he has this deck, but he still hasn't gotten his ace yet, from what we know. But that also makes me assume that maybe Yusaku does have his ace monster in his deck and has, you know, never had the opportunity to draw it, which I don't think is the case. Maybe he's going to get it from Storm Access or the Data Storm. However, I do recall Ignis stating that he's allowed to use that only once per duel. Please do comment down below if I'm incorrect on that, and I will pin the comment, and I do apologize in advance. So let's just talk about the pros and cons from what we know so far about this being a 4 to 5 part duel. The pros are, there's going to be so much information dumping. What I mean by that is, we're going to get a ton of flashbacks. In addition, they're not going to be 100% talking about, you know, the duel, like, oh, I summoned a code talker from this combo. Of course there's going to be that in a duel, you know, it's just typical for Yu-Gi-Oh! Except for Dark Side Dimensions. But as they're conversating about the duel itself, they're also going to be talking about, you know, their motives, why they're after Cyvers, why they're doing this, and we're also going to get more information about Yusaku. I hope that within this duel, since, you know, Revolver is actually an opponent that's worth dueling for Yusaku and is a challenge for him, that we actually get to see who that person is that saved Yusaku, because there's going to be a lot of 3 reasons why in these episodes, or well, at least a good amount of 3 reasons why. And what I mean by good amount is the quality of the 3 reasons why, not actually, you know, just how many they're going to be stated. And as for another pro, we're going to get much more information about Revolver. I'm hoping that they still keep him mysterious, because I sort of like that aspect to him. But we need to know a little information about Revolver, right? We only know that he's part of the Knights of Inoue and then what occurred in episode 3. aside from that, we still don't know a lot about him and what his motives are. Maybe he tells Yusaku, they just like, you know, he's so much into his ego, he doesn't keep to himself about what his plans are and just tells the main hero, and of course tells us because we are the viewers. I think that would be cool. And I also want to know some background information about Revolver. You know, why did he wait 5 years? Because that's a long amount of time. In my other video, I mentioned darts. I mentioned all these other villains that waited thousands, 10,000 years, 10,000s of years. But guys, understand this. There's a big difference between Revolver and all those villains. From what we know, Revolver is a human, alright? He is a human, so he does have a clock on his life. The average lifespan of a human. Well, Darts, who else? You know, Zone, all these people that waited thousands of years. They have some sort of mythical thing behind them, or some sort of power and ability that allows for them to live such a long time. Now, we don't know that much about Revolver. Maybe he does have something like that, but just right now I'm going to assume that he is a human. And 5 years on a person that's possibly in his 20s is, I would say, a good amount of time, because there's going to be a point where he's old. So I do like that, and I like that he waited 5 years, and I hope we figure out why he waited that long. Of course he wants Ignis, but the reason behind it and the cons about this episode, about these episodes rather, is just too long. I could see a lot of the fans hating on the duel because it's possibly going to be boring. I mean, you know, the duels for VRAINS haven't been that great so far. Maybe this duel has a lot of great duel writing behind it, but I can guarantee for the most part there are going to be moments in each episode where there are combos that have been used by Yusaku again and again and again that are going to be reappearing in these episodes, and people are going to latch onto it. So I can see that. I can see that being a con. Another con is, you know, this is 1 month of VRAINS. This is actually a month and a week, so 6 weeks of VRAINS. In terms of episodes, or my bad, rather 5 weeks of VRAINS in terms of episodes, and I think that's a long time for a duel. And this is truly my first time watching a Yu-Gi-Oh anime weekly, so I've never dealt with this, a 5-part duel. I can understand, you know, fans that have been in the community since 5Ds that have seen these episodes, and please do comment down below if there's ever been a 5-part duel besides DM duels and possibly GX duels, because I can't name one. I think another con is the characters that we know, like Naokishima, even though he's most likely not even going to be, he's going to be more of a background character. He's going to be like the one that's cheering Playmaker on. But characters like Go, Akira to some degree, aren't going to get shine in these episodes whatsoever, and that's a long time. 5 episodes for other characters that possibly aren't going to get the shine because they're going to be too involved in writing this Yusaku versus a Revolver duel. But I do hope that there is actually something where the other characters have to participate in, like sorta, I'm going to bring up this point from Pyramid of Light, alright? When the Yugi versus Anubis duel was going on, Yugi and Co, Jinochi, Taya, Trishan, they were doing something else. They were trying to find a way to sort of neutralize the Pyramid of Light, and maybe that could be the case for the program that Yusaku needs to obtain from Revolver, and he must defeat him in a duel for. Maybe that could work, and I think that would be a really nice thing for our characters, because it's just not going to be boring and it's actually going to be another cool thing that they add into these episodes. But anyhow, that is the video for today. I do want to say thank you to DMC for the translations. Please do check out the Facebook and Twitter fan page regarding Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. We are at 1,000 members and we're still growing, and it's only been at this point 8 episodes of VRAINS and we're already at 1,000 members, and I do want to say thank you guys. I just imagine how much we're gonna reach around the 100th episode of VRAINS. I'm hoping at least like 10,000. I know it's a big number, but that would be really cool if we do reach that. So thank you guys for watching. Comment your guys' theories down below. Fan Theory Friday is still in effect. I was going to talk about that in my episode 8 review, which is possibly going to come out today or tomorrow. So for anyone that doesn't know what Fan Theory Friday is, it's basically a series that I created when VRAINS was first coming out. It's where I get your guys' comments and theories and just make a video about them, talk about if I agree with them or not, or how it could play out. I'll pick out the best 5 to 6 comments and just make a video about them, just talk about if I agree with them or not, and if it could possibly happen. It's a really cool series, and it's good interaction with you guys, so comment your guys' theories down below. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day as always.